Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, thank you to our witnesses here. We'll move on to issue number 4, the Housing Support Program and Homeless Assistance Program with Mr. Lightbourne, John Bowders from Californians for Safety and Justice, Kevin Aslanian from the Coalition of California Welfare Rights Organizations, LEO, and Finance.
In the interest of time, Mr. Chair, the staff report captures all the high points, and perhaps go to the witnesses.
Brevity and Me Too's are always welcome in this committee. Thank you. Mr. Bowders?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. John Bowders, Policy Director at Californians for Safety and Justice. Would also like to thank the County Welfare Directors Association, our co-sponsors on this budget augmentation request. As you heard at the outset of this hearing today, there's been a dramatic increase in homelessness across California. It's just one couple small data points of reference here. Between July of 2006 and July of 2015 in the County of Los Angeles, the total caseload of CalWORKs families increased by 7%. During that same period, the total caseload of families who were homeless increased 201% in LA County. In fact, the number of families this year over the 2006 caseload who are homeless exceeds the number increase in the 10-year period. During the recovery of the recession, the request for temporary housing assistance and homeless assistance under the statutorily existing program for 16 days of assistance in CalWORKs was about 4,000 requests per month statewide. The CalWORKs Housing Support Program, which was created by the leadership of the Assembly back in 2014, uses a housing-first approach to providing immediate housing relief to families who are at risk or currently experiencing homelessness. It's an evidence-based practice model where families are met where they're at in life. They're given housing assistance, provided additional wraparound services that include rental assistance, utility and security deposit assistance, housing navigation, and case management to help them become self-sufficient in the place where they're housed. It's a flexible program that is tailored to each county's needs, and over the course of the last couple of years, this program went from 20 million to 35 million, from 20 counties to 44, serving 2,000 families in the first year, 4,500 more in the second year, and increasing from 4,000 to 9,000 children. This augmentation request of an additional $15 million would allow for the state of California to serve all the families in all the counties that are currently in CalWORKs who are needing homelessness assistance. This is 6,400 families annually and 12,800 children. The reasons for providing this assistance are very straightforward. Why is a public safety organization like ours involved in this? Because it's not simply about trying to reduce the prison waste that we spend in our current budget. We're actually trying to make positive and meaningful investments in improving education and health outcomes, decreases juvenile justice involvement, improves public safety, and reduces the long-term reliance on public assistance programs. For these reasons, we strongly ask you to include this $15 million augmentation when you make the budget this year.
Thank you for that very compelling testimony.
Good afternoon, Kevin Aslanian, Coalition of California Welfare Rights Organizations. I want to talk about the primary antidote to the homelessness program that we have in California, which is the Homeless Assistance Program. And the Homeless Assistance Program is limited to once in a lifetime, only 16 days, and they have to be consecutive. And it only pays $65 a day. There's been about 3 bills in the past, AB 1452, which was a bill that would basically require that the daily rate be increased for hotel and motel stay from 65 to 75 and to quotize it. In 1987, when the bill was enacted, it was $30. It took another 12 years before it went up to $40 in 1999. And then we had to wait for another 7 years until 2006 that went up to $65. And now it stayed at $65 for the past 8 years. And we need to change that. We also have to eliminate the requirement that you have to use it consecutively. That means if you get 16 days, if you miss one day, if you go and stay with a relative for a couple of days, those days you lose. You use it or you lose it. And there's AB 702 by Assemblyman Mainshane that would basically provide that you don't doesn't have to be consecutive. And finally, there's this once in a lifetime is a very bad policy. So once in a lifetime means that in the last recession, if you became homeless and you got homeless assistance, and then you found a job, got off of welfare, and then the next recession comes and you become homeless again, they say, sorry, back to the streets, because you already got it once in a lifetime. So AB 2631 by Santiago provides that, just like it was before, once a year you can get homeless assistance. So we have proposed language over here to basically bring the, update the homeless assistance program to be more responsive to homeless people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aslanian. Anything from the LAO's office? Anything from finance? This is, we're not taking action on this today, but this is something that this committee has been very interested in. Obviously, last year, this committee improved and increased the allocation for this program from $20 million to $35 million. So while we're not taking action, we are deeply interested in the subject, and we look forward to the ongoing conversation. Is there any public comment on this item? Please come forward, public comment.
Mike Carroll, Mr. Chair, with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. We do support this augmentation. We do think this has been an effective program and one that we think deserves increased funding. Sadly, we have a lot of homeless families. We have, I think, upwards of 40,000 people every year seeking the homeless assistance program that Mr. Aslanian just described. We also support Mr. Aslanian's recommendations about improvements to the HAP program, which we think are long overdue. Our letter also outlines a number of issues that we think could improve the housing support program, including, and I think most importantly from our standpoint, increasing the amount that could be provided to these families and not capping that at 80% of their income. That's been a real barrier for the lowest income folks. The program hasn't quite worked for them. And then the other thing that we think has really been effective that we would recommend be applied statewide is that the counties themselves actually do the search and identify the housing units and not leave it in the hands of the clients to find the housing always. We think that counties that have done that have had more success, and we think it's a better model that will work more effectively. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Frank Mecca with the County Welfare Directors Association. Want to say a big enthusiastic me too to the arguments that Mr. Bowders made on behalf of our augmentation. We're also in favor of the proposals on the HAP program that Mr. Aslanian pointed out. We've been really appreciative of the Department of Social Services and their partnership in the administration of the housing support program. We're constantly trying to improve the effectiveness of that program, and we're going to continue to do so.
Was that a me too?
Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Nicole Wertelman on behalf of the Ventura County Board of Supervisors and San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors in support of the CalWorks housing program. Between the two counties, we've housed, I want to say, around 700 families and are very appreciative of the augmentations.
Thank you.
Martha Guerrero, representing the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and a big me too also for the housing support program augmentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Jolene Voris here on behalf of the urban counties of California, also speaking in support of the housing supports program. 11 out of the 12 urban counties have used that program. It's very much in demand, and we would sincerely appreciate augmentation to help those families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Stoll-Barbensky, Children's Defense Fund California, in strong support of both of those proposals, and just want to underscore the importance of really paying attention to the needs of homeless children and families as the legislature considers a variety of different proposals to address homelessness. Too often our homeless children are hidden out of view, but still need a lot of important services. So appreciate your leadership on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert Coleman. I represent Shock and Dogfight. The only part I don't like is the HAP program. It doesn't go far enough to help the homeless families in California. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, thank you to all of our witnesses, and we will move on to issue number 5, CalWorks, additional anti-poverty strategies and advocates' requests.
Right.
We're going to start with public comment on this one. And so anyone who intends to speak on this proposal, we will start with public comment on this particular item.
She said here. So there are, Mike Carroll again with the Western Center on Law and Poverty, Mr. Chair. There were 3 issues in your agenda that I think me and Mr. Aslanian will do, and I'm going to focus on the issue of the earned income disregard. And I think it's particularly appropriate in a week in which the legislature tomorrow is likely to take a vote on SB 3, which would raise the minimum wage from the current $10 an hour to $15 an hour. And one of the things that I think is important to note is that, for some families, a small number of families, we believe, will be impacted by the increase in the minimum wage when it's fully implemented. It may mean that they're no longer eligible for cash assistance in the CalWorks program. But one of the reasons and one of the ways that we can make sure that those families could potentially retain their child care and supportive services if they're still within their 24 or 48-month clocks is by increasing the amount of money that a family can keep from their earnings when they go to work. So since 1997, a family's been allowed to keep the first $225 that they make. And then after that, we reduce the CalWorks grant. $1 for the family gets to keep, $1 gets reduced from the CalWorks grant until we get down to 0. And at that point, eligibility for the program for the family goes away. They lose their CalWorks assistance. That $225 has never been adjusted since 1997. So it's been almost 19 years, and that amount has never been adjusted for inflation or to reflect the rising costs in what it would be worth in today's value. The California Budget and Policy Center a year or so ago did an analysis of the disregard and recommended that we raise the disregard to $345 for families and then index it to inflation. And then I want to circle back to SB 3 because if SB 3 is to become law, it also has an indexing factor in it, which will take effect when appropriate. And unless there's a budget downturn, the governor has one of his trigger mechanisms that might be pulled. And so one thing the legislature might consider is raising the disregard as proposed by the Budget Center and then indexing that to inflation consistent with the way that the minimum wage gets increased so that it never falls behind again, that we would be able to, that amount would also always stay at a level that would be appropriate for the families, continue to encourage people to go to work. I think this is a well-known, broadly accepted fact of welfare research is that perhaps the single most successful policy that we have in welfare is the disregard because it encourages families to go to work. And the more that we do that combined with the minimum wage, the more oomph we'll get out of that policy. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other public comment on this item?
Yeah. Kevin Aslan, Coalition of California Welfare Rights Organization. On work incentives, I should note that I see a lot of families once they start working, their food stamp goes down, and then they have other expenses that they have to incur, which are employment related. So their net spendable income is not that much. In fact, often they're worse off working than they were without working. So that's why we need to increase the work incentive. For example, the other big problem is the sanctions. In California, there's about in January there was 1,100,000 people participating in the Welfare to Work program, and there was 58,000 people who were sanctioned. That's a large sanction. That's a lot of people being sanctioned. I dug into the numbers a little bit, and the reason that people are often sanctioned is because they don't go to appraisal. That's when they go to appointment, and then they're called into appraisal. And most sanctions are caused because of lack of transportation and lack of child care. And before a person is scheduled for appraisal, they never verify that the person has safe, adequate child care or the person has transportation. So therefore, often people don't show up, and therefore they're sanctioned. And the RAND study showed that many sanctions are caused because of supportive services. And just looking at the report, in January, there were 58,000 or 59,000 people in welfare to work and unsubsidized employment, and only 56,000 people got transportation out of 111,000 people. So the people, even the people who are working are not getting the transportation, and they cannot beam over from here to there. They have to incur transportation costs, and the law says that they're entitled to transportation. So I guess the proposal basically is to verify supportive services before a person is assigned to welfare to work activity to protect the children and ensure that they're not vulnerable to sanctions. And the next proposal we have is the repeal of the 100-hour rule. This is a classic example was a client who came to my office last year. She was working at McDonald's 25 hours a week, and then her husband comes into the house, and he joins them. Because now it's a two-parent family, they say, oh, you're working over 100 hours, and the whole family was cut off of CalWorks. So she had two choices. Either if she leaves the guy, if she stays with the guy, she can't pay the rent. If she kicks the guy out of the house, then she could pay the rent. And what we're suggesting is to repeal the 100-hour rule. That was a Mellon bill. And last year went all the way to the governor. The governor said he's going to veto it because it should come to the budget
I would
committee.
just ask that we not get into the details of the bill.
Okay, I'm fine.
I will acknowledge our appreciation for the subject and that the bill was addressed, or similar bills were addressed, in the Human Services Policy Committee on just yesterday. And I'm happy to let you know I'm fully supportive of it, and I voted for it.
Yeah.
But we don't want to get into the bills here in our Budget Committee.
Oh, this is a bill that was vetoed last year.
If you would just address, in general, the topic
Okay.
without getting into the
But,
bills. Thank you.
We're asking for the repeal of the 100-hour rule because it's a very bad rule. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Lightbourne, Mr. Bland, did you have anything that you wanted to add on the subject?
No, that's okay.
Thank you. Was there any additional public comment? Was there anything from the LAO's office? Anything from finance? Thank you. We will move on to issue 7, CalFresh and Food Assistance Program and Budget Review and Governor's Proposals for 2016-17. Welcome back Director Lightbourne and Kim McCoy-Wade from the CalFresh branch of the Department of Social Services.
And as soon as Kim is seated, I will turn it over to her.
She's a constituent in District 15, so we're going to give her as much time as she needs to get up here.
Got it.
Well, you know everything there is to know about CalFresh, Chair Thurman, so what can I tell you today? I can give you a quick highlights and, okay. As you know, we run the largest SNAP program in the country, serving 4.4 million people. We're pleased that our caseload continues to grow, even as our economy recovers, and hopefully fewer people need our help. It means our success at connecting folks to benefits is getting better. In terms of budget numbers, the staff's done a great job in the report of laying out. It's about a $2 billion administrative cost, $700 million from the general fund. We also continue to be grateful to the state for running the California Food Assistance Program to serve otherwise eligible folks who are not eligible for SNAP because of their immigration status, and that's $77 million in general fund. 3 quick highlights from the year for CalFresh. Again, our access continues to improve, and we've finally been recognized by USDA. Most improved in 2014, not as good as most valuable player, but that's where we're headed. We also were happy that CalFresh was able to respond to the terrible fires in Calaveras and Butte County, and that we know that Disaster CalFresh is there both for our current participants and folks who are losing their homes and moving out of their homes and having real pain and loss. So the program was responsive there. And third, probably the newest piece, and where I was this morning in Berkeley, meeting with 10 other states in Alameda County, San Francisco County, Contra Costa County, and Sacramento County, is our expanding employment and training program. We are very, very excited about growing this program. We're up from 22 to 34 counties, helping folks on SNAP leave our program for all the right reasons, for better jobs, better wages. So look for more on that in the years to come.
Thank you, MVP McCoy-Wade. We'll look forward to getting to the MVP status. One question for you, and I don't want to get into the bill, but sure. I understand that there is an effort to make it possible to use the EBT card to help those who don't have access to water, and that there are some structural barriers to making that happen. And I was just wondering if you could explain what those barriers are, recognizing we have many communities that are without water. What are the barriers, and how do we work through them?
You know, I'd actually have to defer to our folks in the water agencies for the issues there in getting water. We certainly have the EBT technology at CDSS to deliver cash benefits or food benefits, but we really need to partner with our folks in the water agencies strategies for who's eligible and how we would administer those benefits.
Thank you. Mr. Bland, were you going to add some insight on the subject?
Just also saying that there's, I think, some complicated issues around the EBT system and how it works, and I think what Ms. Wade said covered it well.
We only like the complicated issues. if at the end of the complicated issue, Californians with need get served as a result, we will always tackle the complicated issues. That's what Sub 1's all about. Thank you. Is there anything from the LAO's office on anything from finance? Nothing from finance? Thank you. Can we continue in discussing the governor's proposals, please?
Sure. Start with issue 1 on the drought, or issue 2 on the budget proposal for CalFresh?
You can go through all of them.
Okay, let's do it. So again, drought food assistance has been an important program as we do emergency food already in communities for the ongoing economic issues, but drought food assistance was stood up last year, and we're asking to continue that. $18.4 million in 27 counties listed here in the great staff report. That's that issue. Any questions on drought food? Okay. Issue 2, again, we want to continue our progress in increasing access for children, particularly in working families. We've got a proposal here to fund 5 new staff positions regionally based to help counties, really a technical assistant training, coaching position. We believe there are 3 strategies that are really going to bring more children into our program. We know outreach works, but the 2 new ones are linking to WIC and Medi-Cal and school meals programs that are already serving children and families, helping families get all those benefits. And 2, really modernizing our access through more online access, telephone access, making it work for working families who we know are our newest and growing customer base. And again, I just want to point out really briefly the return on investment if and when we reach our goal of 400,000 more children in 2 years, that we're talking about $900 million more in benefits, $1.6 billion in economic benefit, and of course that added benefit of $18 million in sales tax revenue. So we really do think it's a triple win, as always, with SNAP expansion for needy kids and families. And the third issue is a legacy of 2 programs that we run, SNAP Outreach and SNAP Nutrition Education, moving from public health over to social services, but not bringing with them the contract flexibility of being cooperative agreements. And so we ask that be brought over now to CDSS so that we can run these programs as needed to respond to needs of local communities. Happy to take questions on any of those items.
Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, thank you. Ms. McCoy Wade, anything from finance, from the LAO's office? Is there any public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Andrew Shane from the California Association of Food Banks. Just want to thank the department, underscore the recognition from USDA and the award. The participation award is well-deserved, and the caseloads continue to grow. Also, want to strongly support the proposal for both the 5 positions regionally based as well as the cooperative agreements. Our organization is one of the largest subcontractors to the state. Currently, amendments can take up to 6 months. Very burdensome. Win all around to the cooperative. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Kevin Aslan Coalition California Welfare Rights Organization, we strongly support the PCP and the food stamp outreach program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracy Patterson, California Food Policy Advocates, in strong support of both of these budget proposals, and particularly the new staff positions to increase child enrollment in CalFresh. There's multiple benefits from that enrollment with WIC and Medi-Cal, one additional being direct certification of students through those programs to get school meals for which they're eligible. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Michelle Stoll-Parvensky, Children's Defense Fund, California. Thank you to the department for their leadership on this, and we're in strong support of the BCP to really focus more attention on making sure that our children are getting access to CalFresh benefits. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and state staff. My name is Chris Jensen. I'm with Resources for Independent Living, and we fully support anything that will get more food to more people. And I'm hoping one of these days I'm going to come here and I'm going to see ending the California cash-out policy on this agenda. Billions of dollars are being left on the table, maybe millions, but a lot of money is being left on the table, federal money, because we don't allow people that live on SSI to be receiving food stamps, although they are far below the eligibility cap. This is really an issue of equity. People that are eligible for CalFresh receive it, and they're eligible, but they don't receive it. It's a lot of people. People live on SSI are hit from a lot of different places: transportation costs, healthcare costs, housing costs, utilities, everything, and then food security. They've got to give something's got to give somewhere. So I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but just one idea is as a horizontal integration component, because I know administrative costs are a concern. But if you are eligible for SSI, you automatically qualify for Medi-Cal. There's no reason why they couldn't automatically qualify for CalFresh. And because their condition is probably not going to change, they don't need recertification. So there's a huge administrative savings there. We could expand the program and bring more money into California. So hopefully I'll see that on this agenda one of these days. Thank you very much.
Hi, I agree with Chris Jensen on everything you said. I mean, people on SSI, they're struggling. Food's going up, but benefits are not. And plus, they get no SNAP benefits at all. So they got to pay $8.89 for rent, utilities, food, and everything else. Where's and people are in poverty and they're struggling on SSI. Thank you.
Thank you. Our committee is agendized for action on these items. Any additional public comment? So here is the item that the committee is, the chair is recommending approval of the Drought Food Assistance Program Governor's Budget Proposal, approval of the CalFresh Budget Change Proposal with a request for a written update to be provided in the annual budget process to the subcommittee on the progress of enrollment for each year that the initiative is in effect, approval of the cooperative agreements CalFresh trailer bill language as placeholder, subject to technical adjustments in the trailer bill process. And stakeholders have been consulted. No issues have been raised. Is there a motion? Mr. Chu makes a motion. Is there a second? Mr. Chu motions. Mr. Harper seconds. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Chair Thurman?
Aye.
Ting? Chu?
Aye.
Obernolte? Harper? Aye. Has 3.
Thank you. That motion passes. Thank you to all of our witnesses on issue 7. We're moving on to issue 8, CalFresh and food assistance, advocacy request for state emergency food assistance program. We're welcoming our chief back to the witness table, and Mr. Aslanian, Director Lightbourne, and Andrew Chain. Andrew Chain, welcome from California Association of Food Banks.